Football Tribe UG channel. Robert Kesakos is your usual suspect. Welcome back to yet another live broadcast here on our YouTube channel. It's been great to have you. Earlier on, we did publish a video in regards to the latest on some transfer news, some really hot transfer news there. I hope you guys have been able to check that out. Anyways, allow me to test my audios so that I ensure that everything is well within line, and we'll get our conversation for today started as we look at the final games of the Premier League this season. It's match day 38 across the Premier League, all games kicking off in about 30 minutes from now, and there are some blockbuster games that are going to be coming our way, really, that we ought to look forward to in all aspects. Yes, I think our audios are well in place. I think we are good to go on the part of our audios, but yeah, it's been quite pretty interesting. Beautiful. It's a rainy day out there in Kampala. While I'm doing this, I'm equally concerned on whether we won't lose our power connection or our internet connection, but we will hope for the best, really. We will try to hope for the best in as far as things are concerned. But plenty of transfer news making the rounds, but let's start with those fixtures that are coming our way in as far as the Premier League is concerned. So many games to be played. Good to have you back. Thank you all. Thank you to all our new subscribers. It's been really a wonderful week having you here always every single day for our different live broadcasts. So, like I said, let's get started with with the different fixtures. Bournemouth are at home to Leicester City, while Fulham are Craven Cottage up against Manchester City. Man City need to win that game to guarantee the UEFA Champions League slot. It's almost sort of guaranteed in one way or the other, but they just need to win to be on the safer side. But they need to win. They really need to win. And then Ipswich Town are at home against West Ham United. Liverpool are at home against Crystal Palace. This is more like a test match for what will be the Community Shield curtain raiser for next season, probably around August. So let's see who wins it here, and then who will win at Wembley. Liverpool are really in the market, strengthening their squad. Manchester United are at home against Aston Villa. Seem they started with a very strong lineup. Newcastle are at home against Everton. Nottingham Forest are at home against Chelsea. Arguably the biggest or most contested game of the weekend between Nottingham Forest and Chelsea there. Southampton are up against Arsenal, while Tottenham Hotspurs are at home against Brighton. Brentford make the trip to Wolverhampton Wanderers, and that's all the one of the fixtures that are coming your way. In the Spanish La Liga, in the earlier kickoff, Atletico Madrid did beat up against Girona by 4-0, while after 14 minutes, Villarreal are leading Sevilla by 2-0. So that's the action going over there. So I thought we should get to look at some starting lineups for as far as these particular games are concerned. I did see that starting 11 of Manchester United. Of course, Andre Onana has been relegated out of the squad, as well as Alejandro Garnacho is not in the matchday squad. That one has been already told he's surplus to requirements at Manchester United and should look for a club elsewhere. Luke Shaw has equally been left out of the matchday squad, from what I gather, and this is the team that Ruben Amorim has chosen to start with. Outside Bendia in goal, Victor Lindelof, who has equally been told he will part ways with Manchester United officially at the end of the season. So this is his final game at Old Trafford. Harry Maguire and Aiden Heaven are from the back three. Aiden Heaven there, the youngster who they signed in January from Arsenal, a young defender there. Then Nusa Mazarawi, Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro, and Patrick Dogu from that midfield. Amadou Diallo, Mason Mount, and Rasmus Højlund. So that midfield and the front three have remained unchanged in comparison to the team that lost by 0-0 against Tottenham Hotspurs on Wednesday this week in the UEFA Europa League finals. So for me, I find that quite interesting. But like we spoke in the aftermath of that game, Bruno Fernandes is not the kind of playmaker that you need. He's not the career type of player that you want to have in your midfield as a number 8. So for me, I think Manchester United needs somebody to fill that role. And here, in position where Mason Mount is starting, and next season expect to see their Matthias Cunha because Manchester United have finalized a deal to sign Matthias Cunha from Wolverhampton Wanderers. That news being confirmed earlier on, of course, by one of the credible sources that we do follow on X. And let me get for you the quote in just a second. My phone taking ages to load here. So just a second. Oh, I have missed calls. Anyways. Yes, so Matthias Cunha to Manchester United in a deal believed to be worth about 70 million euros. Yes, Nicolo Shira, they are confirming the deal, saying done deal and confirmed Matthias Cunha will become a Manchester United player from Wolverhampton Wanderers for 70 million euros, player payments in 3 installments, a contract until 2030 with an option to extend for a further year. Remember, the 25-year Brazilian international has scored 15 goals and provided 6 assists across 32 games this season in the Premier League alone. So that's a 21 goal contribution. They bring him as he does prefer to play right behind the strikers and sometimes coming off the left. Very, very brilliant player, formerly at Atletico Madrid. So looks like that deal will be going through. It's just a matter of time. Of course, today being the last day of the season, and then clubs will get busy. Remember, I told you guys the transfer window will officially open next week on Sunday, but that doesn't bar clubs from making some player sales and movement, or discussed deals and that kind of thing. So that's the news at Manchester United. So like I said, Luke Shaw has been told to leave the club. He won't be required next season. Alhan Garnacho, same thing. Victor Lindelof, his contract is not being renewed, so that applies for Luke Shaw as well. So those ones are leaving Manchester United. It's agreed. I will wait to see what decisions the club make on the likes of Christian Eriksen, among other players. Anyways, on their bench, Manchester United do have Tom Heaton, Diego Dalot, Johnny Evans, Tyler Fredrickson, Christian Eriksen, Manuel Ugarte, Kobe Mainoo, Toby Coyle, and Chido Martin Obi. That's the youngster, the striker, who they also signed from Arsenal last summer. On the side of Aston Villa, who are vying for a place in next season's UEFA Champions League, they do have Emiliano Martinez in goal, who could be arguably playing his last game at Aston Villa, despite being under contract until June 2029, because he did appear to wave goodbyes to the Aston Villa supporters in their final game at Villa Park in the last Premier League outing. So, anyways, ahead of him, they have Pau Torres and Ezri Konsa, Matty Cash, as well as Ian Madsen. That's to form the back four. Ahead of the back four is Amadou Onana, Boubacar Kamara, and then ahead of the double pivot is John McGinn, Marco Asensio, Morgan Rogers, and Oli Watkins. So that one is the starting 11 for Aston Villa, who are seeking to qualify for the UEFA Champions League next season. They need to beat Manchester United and hope that Newcastle fumble the ball. Abdul Aziz is back. Hi, I'm a Real Madrid fan. Good to have you back, Abdul Aziz. Yes, I'm well informed. I do remember you. You're a Real Madrid fan. Congratulations to you. I wish to hear from you what you think about the departure of Luka Modric and Lucas Vazquez in the same season, because those ones have said their goodbyes to the Santiago Bernabeu, and we will see them at the FIFA World Cup, and after that they'll be gone for good. So do let me know down in the comment section about your opinions on those two players leaving. Quite legendary. Anyways, ahead of the double pivot, they do have John McGinn, Marco Asensio, Morgan Rogers, and Oli Watkins. That's for Aston Villa. On the bench, they do have Robin Olsen, Tyrone Mings, Lucas Digne, Andres Garcia, Ross Barkley, Yuri Telemans, Leon Bailey, Jacob Ramsey, and Daniel Malin. That's for Aston Villa. So, like I said, Aston Villa really need to win their game today and hope things go in their favor on the other side, because they would rather they 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 would want to win. That's for one. Hope that Nottingham Forest beat up against Chelsea, and maybe so that means that even if Newcastle win and Man City, they still can finish in 50th place and then qualify for next season is UEFA Champions League. So that's the mathematics on that side. Abdulaziz, kindly let me know what your views are on that front. Anyways, let's continue with some other team news. And then at Manchester City, Jack Grealish has been left out of the matchday squad. He's expected to leave the club at the end of the season, alongside with the likes of Kyle Walker. We all know about Kevin De Bruyne. Ilkay Gundogan could leave the club. Bernardo Silva could leave. The goalkeeper Ederson Morales could leave. There's a lot of interest in him from the Saudi Pro League clubs and that kind of thing. So let's see what Manchester City squad look like, or the team look like for today's trip to Fulham. In goal, they do have Ederson Morales, they have Josh Kovadiol, Ruben Diaz, Manela Akanji, and Matas Nunes, and a double midfield of Ilkay Gundogan and Nico Gonzalez. Ahead of them is Jeremy Doku, Omar Mamouche, Bernardo Silva, and Braut Erling Haaland. So looks like Kevin De Bruyne is not. Oh, he's in the matchday squad. He's on the bench. So on the bench they have Stefan Ortega, Nathan Ake, Rico Rose, Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne, Claudio Echeverri, Phil Foden, Nico O'Reilly, and Savinho. That's for Manchester City. So that's as well the news for Manchester City, that some of those senior players will be leaving, as well as Mateo Kovacic is a potential candidate to leave. Man City want to sign Tino Livramento from Newcastle as their preferred choice for a right back as a replacement for Kyle Walker. And then they are also looking to sign Jan Reinders, that's from AC Milan, for their midfield options. And then they are also considering signing Morgan Gibbs-White from Nottingham Forest after pulling out in the race to sign Florian Wirtz from Bayer Leverkusen, deeming that deal a little too expensive for them to afford at the moment, saying the player is overly valued. So that's the other interesting news. On the side of Fulham, they do have Bernard Leno in goal. They have Kenny Teti at right back. They have Joachim Anderson, Georgie Cuenca, and Ante Robinson. I think Ante Robinson, about 28 years of age, should be one of those players that teams look to sign for a left back. Has had a very brilliant season. Probably has 10 assists so far this season in that left back role. Brilliant player. Anyway, in midfield is Sasa Lukic, Tom Kanei, and then Adama Traore, Andreas Pereira, Harry Wilson, and Raul Jimenez there on the starting lineup for Fulham. Quickly, because time is not on our side, let's rush maybe to that game between Chelsea and Nottingham Forest. Very important game, really. This is the gist of the playoffs, literally the playoffs. I'll call them the playoffs for the UEFA Champions League slots. Excuse me. Nottingham Forest do have goalkeeper Matt Sells, who is looking to keep his 14th clean sheet of the season and probably beat David Villa to the Golden Glove this season. David Villa looking to win the Golden Glove for the second season in a row. So he starts in goal for Nottingham Forest. Ola Aina at right back, Nikola Milenkovic, as well as Moriro in that double center back role, as well as Neko Williams at left back. Then Ibrahim Sangare, Elliot Anderson, Anthony Elanga, Morgan Gibbs-White, Nicolas Dominguez, and Chris Wood. Those ones starting. And Nicolas Dominguez getting to start ahead of Calum Hudson-Odoi. And then on the bench, of course, is Calum Hudson-Odoi among all the others that Nuno Espirito Santo could look to change his fortunes. On the side of Chelsea, they have Robert Sanchez, Marco Cucurella, Levi Colwill, Tosin Aderabio, Rachel James starting at right back, not in midfield. Then Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo in that double pivot, as well as Of course, Caicedo plays as the number 6 and Enzo as the number 8. He's been quite brilliant this season by the Enzo Fernandez. 7 goals and 13 assists are provided. He's quite a brilliant return on investment. Jordan Sancho ahead of them, Cole Palmer, Noni Madueke, and Pedro Neto starting as the first 9. Remember, Nicholas Jackson is serving a ban following that red card that he received against Newcastle in their last outing away to St. James's Park before last weekend's game. And so that's that. On the bench, Chelsea do have Philippe Jorgensen, Bernard Badiashile. I can see Cristiano Sam is back. Hi, I'm a Liverpool fan. Good to have you. All I can say is congratulations. Today you get handed your Premier League trophy there. The 20th league title for Liverpool and the second Premier League title for the Reds there. Reason as why we say it's the second, because of the change of name in the league that came in, I think was 92. Yes, 92 there. So congratulations to you, Cristiano Sam. Cristiano Sam, I want to hear from you. What are your views about Trent Alexander-Arnold, the way he's leaving the club, the kind of treatment he's been accorded by some of your fans, the Bulls, and that kind of troll and that kind of thing. Let me know what your views are on that topic. But also, do let me know who you think you should sign for a striker in replacement for Darwin Núñez, who you hope to let go this summer. Interesting. Let's have that conversation, Cristiano Sam. Then, okay, I was saying Chelsea do have on the bench, they have Philippe Jorgensen, Bernard Badiashile, Trevor Chalobah, Malo Gusto, Joshua Achepong, Keenan Drisbury Hall, who, by the way, they may be open to letting go in the summer, Romeo Lavia, Tariq George, and Mark Guehi. So we all know that Tariq George is the one that has been starting those UEFA Conference League games. Remember, Chelsea will be in action on Wednesday up against Real Betis in the finals of the UEFA Conference League. So that game will be bringing you some news on the developments there in regards to that particular fixture on Wednesday. So we'll get to discuss that game as well. Quickly, I see time is not on our side. We about 10 to 13 minutes away from kickoff from those games. Maybe the other game we should look at for purposes of popularity. Of course, Newcastle and Everton is a very, very big game, but we cannot ignore Arsenal up against Southampton. They make the trip to St. Mary's Stadium, but that starting 11, really, especially in the back line, is not one that does appear that can keep a clean sheet at St. Mary's Stadium, but we'll wait to see. Anyways, they do have David Raya in goal, Kian Tierney at left back, Jakub Kivio and Ben White in the centre back roles, as well as Thomas Partey at right back. Yes, you had it right. Thomas Partey at right back, Ben White in the central midfield. He's not played there in quite a while. Then Alexander Zinchenko at left midfield, that's left 8. Declan Rice at the pivot alongside Mikel Merino. Ahead of them is Gabriel Martinelli, Raheem Sterling as the first 9, and Ethan Nwaneri coming off that right wing. So that's the starting 11 for Arsenal. And then on the bench they have Neto, they have Martin Odegaard, Jorginho, Jack Henry, Francis, Miles Lewis Kelly, Bukayo Saka, Leandro Trossard, Kai Havertz, and Ismail Kabir. Then the side of Southampton, they do have former Arsenal goalkeeper in Aaron Ramsdale. They do have Sugawara. They have Nathan Wood, Charlie Taylor, Wellington, then Plain Downs, Lyle Ugochukwu. I think this one is Leslie Ugochukwu, formerly at Chelsea. I think he's on loan from Chelsea. Then they have Matthias Fernandez. They have Jay Robinson. They do have Sulemana. They have Ross Stewart. That's for Southampton. On the topic of Liverpool, Cristiano Sam says, yes, it's disappointing. Yes, it's disappointing me that when I was a child, I used to admire Trent Alexander-Arnold and respect his decision, but we shouldn't boo him because what he did in the past, it's fantastic. Corner taken quickly. Yeah, yes. I mean, I couldn't agree more, and that's part of what we've been saying all along on this channel. that even when you do not agree with the decision is sort of made, even if you feel hurt by the decision is made, even when you think maybe he should have given the club some money in the form of transfer fees, but you ought to respect one the decision, but you ought to be more importantly appreciative of his contribution to the club. And you particularly reference that quick corner kick against Barcelona in the return leg of the UEFA Champions League. When he takes that quick corner to play in a Divock Origi, who scores the fourth goal that eventually gets Liverpool over the line. I mean, he's had so many brilliant moments with Liverpool, and that's what particularly Jurgen Klopp was speaking about when he was auctioning off Trent Alexander-Arnold's shirt this week when he returned to Liverpool for the first time since he left as Liverpool manager. So I do certainly agree with you that fans should have the right to feel disappointed. They have the right to feel bad that he's leaving them. They've supported him. They've stood with him in both the good and the bad. But he's also given his all and he wants now a new challenge. He ought to be celebrated for his contribution on that Liverpool side. Let's not forget, this is a player that has been chipping in both goals and assists, averaging no less than 10 assists a season, but this season. So really, for me, a very important player for Liverpool over the years, and he deserves sort of respect. He deserves the congratulations. In any case, he would have been even accorded the guard of honor, where he gets to be applauded, and that kind of thing. He's won 2 league titles, a UEFA Champions League title, 2 an FA Cup, 2 Carabao Cups, and the Community Shield. Really, he's achieved it all with Liverpool. So he does deserve to go on and have a new challenge for himself. So that's that on the side of Liverpool. Cristiano Sam giving us his feedback on those issues about Liverpool's Alexander Trent-Arnold, who will be leaving the club at the end of the season. Is going to be joining Xabi Alonso, who has been officially announced as the Real Madrid head coach on a 3-year contract. The former Real Madrid player. Remember, he was part of that 2014 squad that won the La Decima for Los Blancos, beating up against Atletico de Madrid in the finals by 4-1. We all remember very late on in the 93rd minute, Luka Modric bringing in that corner that Sergio Ramos lashes on to score the equalizer late on in that game, and then in stoppage time, Gareth Bale going on to score, as well as Marcelo, and then I think a penalty by Cristiano Ronaldo. So he was part of that squad, and then eventually left and joined Bayern Munich. So after which he eventually retired. He retired after Bayern Munich and returned to Real Madrid, where he started his coaching career as part of the Madrid Academy with the under-14s. And then around 2018, he left them and joined Real Sociedad B team, and he managed them until October 2022, when he left to go and serve at Bayer Leverkusen as head coach there. So at Bayer Leverkusen, he found them second from bottom. That's in October 2022 for the 2022-2023 season, and then he pushed them to a 6th place finish on the German Bundesliga table, and they qualified for the UEFA Europa League, where they eventually the following season went up to as far as the final and lost to Atlanta by 3-0. Ademola Lookman scoring the hat-trick in that final, but that was the only game they lost that season, because they completed the German Bundesliga season unbeaten and won the Bundesliga title. They also won the DFB Pokal. So, and then this season he guided them to a 2nd place finish on the Bundesliga table. So really good credentials. We all remember last summer he was a hot cake. Liverpool wanted him as the replacement for Jurgen Klopp, but he declined that offer and chose to stay with Bayer Leverkusen, which was the right decision. I mean, Liverpool ended up with Arne Slot, who has won them a Premier League title. So, I mean, really all aligned perfectly, and now he's gotten himself the job for Real Madrid. It's going to be it's a very huge job, one that comes with a lot of pressure, but you think he can cope with that pressure, even when he's still a young manager. And unfortunately for him, as he walks into the door, are 2 legends in Luka Modric and Lucas Vazquez to leave the club, and they are also looking to sign Alvaro Alvaro Care, Care, Carreras, yes, Alvaro Carreras from Benfica for their left back position. We all know Falan Mendy is out injured, and then Juan Garcia has yet to really click in that position. And then they've already signed Dean Howson, the centre back from AFC Bournemouth, who will be joining them on a 5-year contract. So they're paying £50 million for Dean Howson to be signed from, to sign him from Bournemouth. While for Alvaro Carrera, that deal is going to be, the two clubs in Benfica and Real Madrid are still negotiating over the transfer fee that is expected to be in the region of about 40 to 50 million euros for the left back. But the advantage for Xabi Alonso is that he will have the duo for the FIFA Club World Cup, where Real Madrid will be represented as one of the Spanish teams. Barcelona are not going to be there. I think the other team is Atletico Madrid that is going to be featuring in the competition. Excuse me. So after the FIFA Club World Cup, then formally Luka Modric and Lucas Vazquez will cut their ties with Real Madrid as far as football is concerned for their future. So that's that. But that deal is on for Alvaro Carreras, yes, from Benfica, yes, to Real Madrid. That's the left back. And then Liverpool also continue their negotiations with AFC Bournemouth over the signing of Miros Kakes. That's the left back who they want to sign. They have already signed Jeremy Frimpong from Bayer Leverkusen as a replacement for Alexander Trent-Arnold. I don't know if Cristiano Sam is still with us, but he should also give us his opinion about Jeremy Frimpong, who is joining them as the replacement for Alexander Trent-Arnold at the club. So really, really interesting news there that is coming through for Liverpool, and we all know that they are well within their pursuit to sign Florian Wirtz, who has given them the green light that he has chosen them over Bayern Munich, and they are looking to complete that deal. And negotiations between the clubs are still ongoing over a potential transfer fee. Anyways, so that one we've already spoken about. Maybe briefly, Carlo Ancelotti is on his way to Brazil already. Remember, he's going to be the head coach for the Brazil national team. But I just wanted that quote on Alvaro Alvaro Carreras. Yes. Anyways, they have a final to play in Portugal, I think against Sporting, maybe, and then he will be making the move. So I think that's the gist of the conversation. That's the gist of the conversation, really. As far as still transfers are concerned, former Manchester United manager Erik ten Hag is joining Bayer Leverkusen on a 2-year contract as the replacement for Xabi Alonso. Initially, Bayer Leverkusen wanted as Francesco Fabregas, but he chose to stay with Como in Italy. So it looks like they've turned to Erik ten Hag, who indicated his availability, and everything is as good as done. On Monday, paperwork will be signed and the announcements will be made that he is taking over at Bayer Leverkusen. Then Ada Turan, former Barcelona and ex-Atletico Madrid attacking midfielder, that's the Turkish international. Ada Turan is going to be the next manager for Shakhtar Donetsk, putting pen to paper on a 2-year contract. While the other team that will be searching for a manager will be Ajax, because their manager did sign out. They talked to Erik ten Hag to return to Ajax, but he chose to go for the Bayer Leverkusen wall. And then Aberdeen yesterday doing wonders, beating Celtic 4-3 to win the Scottish Cup. That proceeded, I think, a 1-1 draw in normal time, winning their first major trophy, I think, in 35 years. Really, it's a beautiful story that did happen there in Scottish football. Speaking of Celtic, Arsenal's Kieran Tierney will be leaving at the end of the season to reunite with Celtic. So that's equally there in as far as our news is concerned. Then let's look at maybe a little bit of more transfer news. I know games are getting started. Games are getting started. Games are getting started. Our focus is going to be on multiple games, guys. But really, that game between and Chelsea and Nottingham Forest, that one really we cannot we cannot miss out on it because it's a very very crucial game. And then we'll try to keep tabs on all the other games for as much as our screens can afford us. We'll labor to see if we can follow the proceedings from those respective games. But more importantly, we are interested in that game between Chelsea and Nottingham Forest. Whoever wins that game could have a say on who qualifies for the UEFA Champions League. If Chelsea win that game, then that means even if Aston Villa win, then they may not qualify for their game. So just a bit. Let's see. Games are kicking off in just a bit. I can see the players, doing their usual greetings. That's for the Forest and Chelsea game, Nottingham Forest and Chelsea game. But I wanted us to look at some transfer news. Yes, Arsenal have joined the race to sign Kaoru Mitoma. Bayern Munich are the front runners in that race. They want to sign him for an estimated fee of about 50 million euros for the 28-year Japanese international, who has said he would be really, really interested in a move to Bayern Munich. They are looking at him as a potential replacement for Leroy Sané / Kingsley Coman. Remember, they are trying to renew the Leroy Sané's contract, but that the two parties are yet to reach an agreement. Safa Ali, the Fenerbahce fan, is here, also a Real Madrid fan as well as Arsenal. How are you, Safa Ali? I'm good, my brother. Good to have you back. Good to have you rejoin us. Then Liverpool are also interested. Liverpool and Newcastle are interested in signing João Pedro from Brighton and Hove Albion. It is believed that the club want to make a profit of their then record signing, who they signed for about £30 million from Watford. So they are really interested. Chelsea and Arsenal have been mentioned within that João Pedro conversation, but let's wait and hear about more on that. But Arsenal are in the race to sign Kaoru Mitoma, as well as Rafael Leao, who has also been potentially linked with a move to Arsenal, but Bayern Munich are equally interested in the Portuguese winger. So expect that and more news and that kind of speculation in the coming days in as far as transfers are concerned, because that's going to be the hot cake ahead of the FIFA Club World Cup. The teams that are going to be representing there will be looking to make some signings before the tournament kicks off. Then Napoli seem to be in pole position to sign. Average is considered good. What are you trying to refer to, Safa Adi, there in that? Okay, you're a little unwell. Sorry about that. We wish you a quick recovery. So Napoli are in pole position to sign Kevin De Bruyne on a 2-year contract with an option to extend for a 3rd year in a deal worth about 27 million euros in sign-on fees, as well, and then wages that are estimated to be about 10 million euros per season, and then maybe about 5 for the 3rd season. That will be at the discretion of Napoli. They are also in pole position to sign 25-year-old Canadian striker Jonathan David on as a free transfer from Lille. And this is according to Sacha Tavoridi, who says, understand there is confidence on Jonathan David's side that an agreement as free agent will be reached with Napoli. Juventus are still on it, but David is currently giving his preference to the champions of the Serie A. Remember, the other night they beat up against Cagliari by 2-0 to win their 4th Scudetto. There, Scott McTominay and Romelu Lukaku scoring in that game to ensure that Antonio Conte won his 5th Scudetto title, and the first with Napoli, of course, the other with Inter Milan, and 3 with Juventus. So he goes on to say that Napoli made the biggest impression and proposal to the Canadian player. So Napoli are also interested in signing Alejandro Garnacho from Manchester United. That one is equally on, and we'll wait to see how everything does how everything transpires in as far as that particular run of transfers is concerned. So, but it will be quite really interesting to see where Alejandro Garnacho ends up, because Chelsea are also interested in his services. So games have kicked off, guys. I do because of for reasons that I've explained on this channel before. I'll be breaking, and we'll be back at full time to sort of maybe even at halftime to look at what results we'll have had at the time. But I seem to be struggling with already some of my feeds here in as far as those games are concerned. Mainly, we're going to be keeping tabs on that Newcastle and Everton game. We're going to be keeping tabs on the Arsenal game against Southampton, but more importantly, the game between the game between Chelsea and Nottingham Forest is a must-watch. Really, is a must-watch by all accounts and measures, because there's everything to play for and nothing to be left to chance in those games. So trying to organize everything here to see that we do not miss a thing. There are no goals yet across the Premier League. So guys, allow me wrap it here. Go and enjoy the games. Let's link up maybe at halftime or at full time. But at full time, most definitely, for as long as we have power. You never know, because it's raining in Kampala right now. Sometimes power tends to go off when it rains. So let's hope for the best. Stay blessed for now. I can see somebody missing a goal here already. I think Mikel Merino missing a chance there for Arsenal. And then this Chelsea game, Chelsea has 45% chance of winning it according to the supercomputer there. So anyways, guys, go and enjoy the games. Let's link up a bit later. Bye-bye for now.